Now for some breaking news is the GBNews Political Editor Darren McCaffrey. Darren, take it away.
Yeah, good afternoon, Liam. Well, in the last couple of minutes, Downing Street, in fact, have confirmed themselves that the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, and the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, are going to receive fixed penalty notices or fines relating to partygate. Of course, the police have been carrying out, haven't they, an investigation for months now into alleged rule-breaking inside Number 10 and Whitehall. We can now remove that word alleged. We know that there has been rules broken. Up to 50 people inside Number 10 and Whitehall have been handed these fines, which means that they broke covert rules. Covert rules, of course, that applied to all of us, but ultimately were set by the people inside Number 10 and Whitehall, but broken by the people inside Number 10 and Whitehall. Downing Street this afternoon saying that the Prime Minister and the Chancellor of the Exchequer have today received notification that the Metropolitan Police intend to issue them with fixed penalty notices. We've no further details, but we will update you again while we do. Quite an extraordinary development, Liam. We know that much of the heat and momentum has been taken out of this story, hasn't it, in recent weeks, not least of all because of the dreadful war in Ukraine. But this still is, as I say, quite an extraordinary moment, quite a sensational moment, that the Prime Minister, the man who set the rules, is now being fined by the police for breaking them. I don't think we really have an historical precedence for all of this. It will pile pressure again, of course, on the Prime Minister, and it must be said, the Chancellor too, about what they knew, what they didn't know, what they did and what they didn't do. And I think it raises that fundamental question that Theresa May, the former Prime Minister, asked of Boris Johnson at the height of all of this, which was, did the Prime Minister break the rules unintentionally, i.e. he didn't even know what the rules were that he had set, or did he do so deliberately and mislead Parliament? And that is going to be the big fundamental question the Prime Minister is going to face in the hours and days to come. There is a sense, as I say, that this is not necessarily going to bring down his government now, given where we're at, though you could never rule that out. But there is still a lot of anger out there and a lot of questions that the Prime Minister and indeed Rishi Sunak will have to answer.
Darren, I'm reeling. This is really big news. I mean, how does this work? This means, doesn't it? And we've got to absorb the judgment and really look at the details. But at first impression, this looks as though the Prime Minister consistently misled the House of Commons. I mean, there are implications when any cabinet minister misleads the House of Commons, right?
Well, under the Ministerial Code, if it's done intentionally, it is in precedent and in theory, and more than that, in reality, it should be a resigning issue. The question is, did the Prime Minister do it intentionally? Now, Downing Street have always seemed to suggest that the Prime Minister took on face value what people were telling him, that the rules were followed at all times, the guidance was followed at all times, that no rules were broken. The problem is now, for that argument from the Prime Minister, is it doesn't matter whether other people told him the guidance and the rules were followed. It's pretty clear he didn't follow them because he's now facing a fine by the police for not following them. So in the end, again, it comes back to this question. Either he broke the rules knowing he was breaking the rules, or he did so not knowing he was breaking the rules. And that raises the question, how the damn did the Prime Minister not know that he was breaking the covert rules that he set and was pleading, asking, demanding the rest of the population to stick by? So this is very, very tricky. It will certainly mean that many MPs who, for the time being, had been on the fence saying we wanted to see what the police were going to say. I think this is going to, again, raise that question in their mind about where they stand in all of this, whether letters of confidence could yet again be resubmitted to Sir Graham Brady in the 1922 committee. Could we get to a stage again where there could be a leadership challenge for the Prime Minister? As I say, the sense in Westminster is that this story has somewhat been on the back burner, but this, as I say, sensational announcement from the Met that the Prime Minister and the Chancellor have been fined raises all those questions again, Liam.